No business in America had a typical year in 2020. In Tempe, we were proud to see many of our local companies think creatively for the good of their customers, our community, and also their own bottom lines. Several Tempe distilleries converted their operations to make hand sanitizer instead of whiskey. Blue Media made face shields and masks instead of special event signs. Nimbus created a robot that could sanitize hospital rooms without the need for humans. And in Tempe, our fashion incubator swerved from evening gowns to reusable medical gowns. I'd like to recognize their extraordinary efforts that not only created new jobs during a time when many people were unemployed, but they also saved lives.
FABRIC, the Fashion and Business Resource Innovation Center, was an idea that Sherry and I had in order to be able to help other apparel entrepreneurs start their brands and make their products locally by providing the education that they needed and all of the support services in order to get their products made and their businesses started locally.
And we thought, well, what can we do to help the community? We're community-based, and use our particular expertise to be able to contribute and in turn be able to continue to serve the community. So I was sitting home in my living room and I was watching Governor Cuomo talk about the PPE shortage in New York. We threw our hats in to say, if there is a shortage or a need that involves cut and sew, please let us know. And within 2 days, we got a call from both Banner and Dignity Health asking us if we could support their needs in making gowns.
Our economic development staff knew these medical gowns were critical to the well-being of healthcare workers, and they stepped up to help. They helped Fabric find funding for new equipment and located a second facility that met the criteria for manufacturing these specialty gowns. The demand for gowns was far beyond what anyone expected. More than 500,000 gowns have been made so far at the Zero Waste facility. Sherry started the spin-off company called Reusa to handle the business.
These gowns have turned into a brand called Reusa that is a mashed up acronym of Reusa and USA Made. So if you go to reusapppe.com, you can look at the gowns. They're available to buy one or as many as you need, and that's so anybody who needs to stay safe can buy a medical FDA approved gown on the internet at a really fair price.
We've actually now made 600,000 of these reusable medical gowns, and they can each be washed 100 times. So that has kept about 60 million disposable gowns from going into the landfill. So it's a sustainable solution.
There was already a critical shortage of gowns in some of the biggest hospitals in metropolitan Phoenix. I mean, they were about ready to run out of gowns. And so we had to source the materials and trims, which were almost as scarce as the finished goods were themselves. We had to get FDA certification. The last thing we wanted to do is make a gown that went on a doctor or nurse that wasn't 100% safe and effective. And by April 21st, we were already manufacturing thousands of gowns a day that were going straight to the healthcare system. Our heroes of this whole thing are our healthcare providers, and they needed to be protected.
Angela and Sherry have received national acclaim for their efforts. They have received the Fashion Humanitarian Award and Outstanding Women in Business Award. President Joe Biden visited the facility during the height of the pandemic. At a time when many businesses were furloughing staff, Angela and Sherry grew substantially. They now have more than 100 benefited employees who receive health insurance and 401ks. And their original mission, helping emerging fashion brands succeed, hasn't been lost. The incubator is busier than ever. More than 500 companies receive services from Fabric, and more entrepreneurs than ever are approaching the incubator to get started with their fashion brand or to receive manufacturing services. In February, Fabric launched an online designer roadmap to teach people the skills they need to have successful fashion brands. Fabric offers more than a pathway to a successful business. The incubator allows people to pursue their creative dreams. Makeup artists, wardrobe assistants, hairstylists, photographers, graphic designers, and other kinds of artists flourish here. Recently, Fabric had an online fashion show for many of those brands, and I did something I never thought I'd do. I walked the runway in a designer suit by House of Donaldson. I'm proud to have a small role in this exciting, compassionate, and successful venture.
We have some really cool visionary plans that are happening right now that we're actually implementing. What we now have is a virtual roadmap that is nothing like anything in the country. There's really nothing out there that is taking somebody from business idea all the way through getting the business started, branding it, design development, manufacturing, and marketing virtually. And there's hundreds of videos, downloadable resources, everything somebody needs built into our website now. If it was not for the City of Tempe and their generosity and their vision of allowing us to start a fashion incubator inside of their former performing arts theater, none of that would have happened. So we're extremely grateful.